Okay. So, see, just want to have an idea what is.
Okay.
I got disconnected in between, I don't know what has happened. So the session I would like to have here is just to interact with you. The of the the thing is that if we interact with each other, then it will be easier for us to learn a little bit more detailed into this things. It is actually afternoon after lunch, so it is quite difficult time for all of you to keep awake. I know. So just interactive session may make it a little bit better. So just my query is like what we should do when we are going to purchase a vessel.
Sir, the owner should give the shipyard how much weight he needs to he needs the ship to carry,
Okay, so
or what's the use of the ship he needs.
okay, so the owner should know what he wants, right? So owner should know what type of vessel he should build. He should know what is the speed of the vessel. He should know how much cargo he should carry, and from which location to which location he should carry take the cargo, and whether it is profitable or not. All those studies the owner should do, right? So once the owner is sure that he needs a vessel of this much length, this much breadth, this much depth, and all, and this is the cargo he is to carry and all. So then he should approach the shipyard with that details. And what should be the agreement between this owner and the shipyard? That means if the shipyard says that I will give you this vessel, how will this owner make sure that this shipyard gives me the vessel I want? So what should be the communication? What communication they do?
They have to exchange all these data of this shipbuilding.
Okay, so there has to be something like the owner has to specify that this is my length, this is my breadth, this is my
Excuse
depth.
me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, are you presenting?
No, I am not sharing my screen as it is. I am just doing
Okay.
on the go. That's it.
Oh,
So
okay, sir.
I will share the presentation after just having a brief discussion. So it is easier for
Okay, sir.
you to take to that presentation after that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So the owner and the shipyard comes into an agreement with a specification of the ship, right? The specification says that my ship should have this much dimension. This is my cargo carrying capacity. This is the speed of the vessel, and this is the place from this location to the other location. I should carry this vessel and all. So I will just share my screen with blank this one. So don't worry, it is just a blank page. So I will write it out. Just a minute. we usually use Microsoft. This Microsoft Teams. So that's why there's a slight difficulty here in operating this one. So the owner tells the shipyard that I need a so owner and the shipyard comes with a specification. So spec of the ship is prepared by the owner and he gives it to the shipyard. So the shipyard prepares another document and gives it to the owner. So what should be that? So how will the owner know that the shipyard has provided, say, accommodation for 5 crew members or 1 captain, 1 chief engineer, or I have 2 engines or single engine, or I have this many bulkheads, all these things shown in one document. So what is that document called? Any idea?
General arrangement.
General arrangement, very good. So that means that the shipyard, according to the specification of the owner, the shipyard prepares one document, or it is called as a plan, which is known as a general arrangement plan. So this general arrangement plan forms a communication medium between this shipyard and the owner, right? So the owner will be sure that shipyard is going to build a ship with this specific general arrangement plan. Okay, so the owner is a operator only. It is just like, see, I am a car owner and Maruti is the car manufacturer. So I am buying a car from Maruti. So what happens is that how will I make sure that this car is safe enough? That means there has to be somebody who should check this car's design and construction and tell me that this car is safe. So there has to be somebody who is technically capable of evaluating this car's design and construction and all, and then tell me that this car is safe to use. So can you tell me who should be that particular party?
Surveyors.
Surveyors, or we can call them as classification societies. Am I right? Okay. So this classification society comes in between this owner and the shipyard and tells that this ship is safe to operate with this specific conditions you have specified. We have checked it according to certain standards, certain rules as per engineering requirement, and we say that we give this ship a certificate. So what is the use of this telling that this class telling that this ship is safe to operate in this region, or this owner just to make the owner happy, or just for any other purpose?
For insurance of the ship.
Exactly. Because a class certificate, a valid class certificate is a requirement for an insurer, so that he will be sure that this owner is not going to sink this vessel and get some money out of me. That should not happen. And class certificate makes sure that this vessel is safe to operate in the sea conditions because the ship's design and construction is okay. So we have seen that this general arrangement plan is prepared. So once the general arrangement plan is prepared, so it is to be seen by the class society. So that means that somebody should check that plan. Okay, so checking that plan is done by one specific department in the class society that is known as the plan approval department. So once he checks that this plan is meeting the class rules, he will give a stamp on the plan and put it as approved, noted, or whatever stamp is there, and he will give it to the owner. So and the shipyard. So the shipyard makes it according to his own requirement. So is it safe to just believe that the shipyard will make everything okay, just as the plan says? Or should the class society depute someone to check that this construction is according to the plan approval has approved? Is it required?
Yes.
Okay, so what we do is that we do check the plans in the plan approval department. And once the plan approval department checks the plans, the plan will be sent to the shipyard, the ship owner, as well as we have some checking parties at different shipyards locations where they are known as survey stations. The survey station surveyors will go with the approved plan and check that this construction is done according to the approved plan. So what it makes sure is that this construction is done according to the class rules, and all the standards are maintained. And once the construction is done, they will go for testing it and do the trials of the ship, and then they will issue something called a class certificate. So the class certificate is the most valuable document to the ship owner, because without that, he won't be able to claim the insurance, or he cannot be insure his vessel. Okay. So now I think you have got where the class society stands. So as far as a ship owner or a shipyard is concerned, class society is a third party who is an independent authority, and they check the design and construction of the vessel according to a certain standards or rules, and then give a class certificate. So the class certificate is a required document for a ship. Okay. So not all the ships, but the ship which sails to the sea. Okay. So we have seen that this class certificate is there. So why class society? What is the role of a classification society? I will just give you by sharing. All of you can see this particular document.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is our IRS class rules part 1, chapter 1, this section 2, which states that this objective of ship classification is to verify the structural strength and integrity of essential parts of the ship's hull and its appendages, stability of the ship, reliability and function of the propulsion and steering systems, power generation, and those other features and auxiliary systems which have been built into the ship in order to maintain essential services on board. So does it says anything about the safety of the people on board?
No, sir.
No. So that means that this classification society mainly looks after the strength and integrity of the ship's hull, stability of the ship, and reliability and function of the propulsion and steering systems. So what you will understand by this statement? Does it take care of the entire ship's requirement, or does it takes care of the safety of the ship only?
Safety of the ship only.
Safety of the ship only. So that means that there has to be something else to take care of the safety of the people, or the pollution requirements, or other statutory requirements and all. So those are known as statutory requirements. So the importance of the statutory requirement is that I have registered my car in Maharashtra. So I am driving my car to Kerala. Okay. So what happens is that as per the Kerala Motor Vehicles Act, you have to re-register it within 6 months. I take this car to Kerala. Okay. So that means that there is a small difference between Maharashtra state and Kerala state, but both the cars are belonging to Indian Union. Okay. So that means that as part of car registered in Indian Union, I can drive my car to any state. But if I am continuing in that state, then I have to register my car in that state. Okay. So, and there are different small changes for vehicles operating in different states. And suppose if Maharashtra says that I should have my headlight at the center of the car, and tail lamp, only one tail lamp I should give. But Kerala state says that I should have two headlights for my car, and I should have two tail lamps. So there will be a conflict of interest, like I am taking my car from Maharashtra to Kerala. Okay. So you understood that if there is a difference in common rules, then it is quite difficult for a person to take one vehicle to the other state, right? Are you getting it? Or
Yes, sir.
so that means that there has to be a common understanding between these states, so that this vehicle which is designed should be usable in all the states. Okay. So similarly, suppose I am taking I have registered my vessel in Mumbai, and I am sailing to Japan. So what happens is that this vessel is supposed to have a certain number of life rafts. I think all of you know what is a life raft and all. So this life raft is supposed to be there for all the people on board, and should be there on each side of the vessel, is as per the Japanese requirement. But say the Indian requirement says that this life raft I require only on one side, but should be sufficient for all the people on board. So that means that the number of life raft itself, there can be a change. But is it allowable that if I am sailing from Mumbai to Japan, and Indian regulation says something and Japanese regulation says something else, and my vessel is detained in Japan, or it is confiscated in Japan, stating that your vessel is not safe to sail? So is it possible, or should it be possible? Okay. So okay, so I think I have asked a little bit complicated question. Okay, so that means that if I am sailing on, if I am going on sail from my vessel from Mumbai to Japan, so both the countries should have identical requirements for the safety of the people on board, right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So that means that there has to be a general agreement between these countries. Okay, so that general agreement is actually taken care by International Maritime Organization. Okay, so International Maritime Organization takes care about this uh, general requirement between the member states. Okay, so what I will do is that I will just share my presentation. Just a moment. Okay, so I think I have just briefly introduced you to this IMO, IACS. What is IACS? Is it a government body, or is it a regulatory body?
Sir, I think there are some classification societies which are under IACS, around 12, I think.
Okay,
It's
yeah. So this classification society, you are sure that it takes care about the ship's safety, and this classification societies different. There are different classification societies like ABS, LR, BV, DNV, like that. And these classification societies should have a common understanding. Suppose in the case of say you are calculating this wave bending moment for a vessel, And this wave bending moment calculation itself should be a common. There has to be a common understanding between this different classification societies. So there has to be some agreement between these classification societies, and accordingly, to have a general understanding, there is a association which is known as International Association of Classification Societies. So is this classification society a government body by default?
Sir, I think no.
No. So then can this IACS be a government body?
No.
No. So that means that IACS is an independent body, just like the classification societies, which are all independent bodies. Some of the classification societies are governed by their governments. Earlier, I think LR was governed by or supported by this UK government. So we will go through this presentation right now, and it is just taking care of what is the role of shipping, then regulation regimes, IMO and flag states, and then classification societies and IX. So we will have a general idea about all these things. Okay. In between, you have any doubts, please ask me.
So can I ask,
Yeah, please.
sir, what are the merits and demerits of, like, if the classification society is under the functioning of government or not?
See, I will explain it. So, like, if the classification society is under a government body, then the government's requirements are also to be satisfied with or the government can influence the classification society's decisions. So that is why governments usually don't try to control this classification societies, because there can be political or economical influences on this classification societies. So that is the reason.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. We are coming into that also. So I think my screen is visible to all of you. So around 90% of this world trade is carried by international shipping industry. So why shipping is considered as the most important part of world economy? Any idea? It's because of this reason only. Okay. And just a blockage of Suez Canal creates a lot of difficulties for the economies around the world. So those things are very important, that the shipping should continue as freely as possible. And there are almost 50,000 merchant ships trading internationally, transporting every kind of cargo like LNG, LPG, all those things are coming to us through ships only. And world fleet is registered in over 150 nations and manned by over 1 million of seafarers, virtually every nationality. Okay. So International Maritime Organization, the route goes to 1948 after this UN formation. And the initial name was like International Maritime Consultative Organization, and later it was changed the name to International Maritime Organization, which is working under UN. Okay, so that means that it is a purely statutory body. Means like it governs all the statutory requirements or the regulation regimes by the governments. And IMO's slogan is like safe, secure, and efficient shipping in clean oceans. So safety, security, and efficiency in clean oceans. Clean oceans means it requires the uh, uh, pollution prevention also. So this logo itself says the different conventions. So it is the only United Nations specialized agency to have its headquarters in the United Kingdom. Okay, so that means that it's in UK. And currently, that means March 2024, it has 176 member states and 3 associate members. Okay, so I will make you just have a look into this website of IMO and IACS also, and I will give you some inputs into the latest developments of this IMO and IACS. And its Governing body, the assembly meets once every 2 years between sessions. The council, consisting of 40-member governments elected by the assembly, acts as IMO's governing body. So this is the present condition of IMO. IMO is a technical organization, and most of its work is carried out by a number of committees and subcommittees. The Maritime Safety Committee is the main technical committee, deals with all matters relating to the safety of shipping, as well as addressing the maritime security issues and piracy and armed robbery against ships. The Maritime Environmental Protection Committee is responsible for coordinating the organization's activities in the prevention and control of pollution and environment from ships. So anything related to the environment is taken care by the Maritime Environmental Protection Committee. There are 7 subcommittees. So I am not going through each and every subcommittee. So the subcommittee which deals with ship design and construction is SDC subcommittee. So which has recently convened in January. And every year they convene, and in that different papers will be presented, like say underwater radiated noise, like that. So all those new things will be presented to the Ship Design and Construction Committee. So I will show a glimpse of what all things are happening right now. IMO has promoted around 50 conventions, so and 1,000 codes. So can anyone tell me what is the difference between a code and a convention? Is SOLAS a code or a SOLAS a convention?
SOLAS is a convention.
SOLAS is a convention. So why we should have a code, like suppose LSA code? So why it is required? Any idea? Okay, so recently, I think you have all heard about the Inland Waterways Act and Inland Waterways rules, or and what is the difference between an act and a rule? Any idea? Okay, so I will give a brief description. Like SOLAS says that I should provide a life raft enough for the number of persons on board. Okay, I'm just giving an example only. It is much deeper into this. So number of persons on board should all the number of persons on board should be having a life raft. That means life raft should be adequate for the number of persons on board. And it doesn't says that how the life raft should look like, or how the life raft should be designed, how much fast it should inflate, or what all things it should carry, and what should be the requirement for launching the life raft. All those things are not mentioned in the SOLAS convention. Okay, so that means that there has to be something else to describe all these details, and that is taken care by the LSA code. Okay, so that is the difference between code and convention. Convention says like a law, and that law is implemented by the code. Okay, so similarly, you have say chemical tankers. So chemical tankers is mentioned in SOLAS. It is like carriage of dangerous goods, but the implementation is done by the IBC code. Okay, so these are the codes which implement a convention. Okay, so that's how it works. So the key IMO conventions are Safety of Life at Sea, and International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, which is shortly known as MARPOL, and International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping of Seafarers. So these are the key IMO conventions, I would say. There are many conventions. So you can see that there are almost 50 conventions in their list. And classification society, we have briefly seen what is the purpose of a classification society. So the objective is to just verify strength, stability, and operational operability. That means like propulsion, steering systems, power generation, and all. And it doesn't say anything about the other part of the statutory requirements. So for statutory requirements, classification is the base. Okay, so if you want to issue the load line certificate, you should have a classification certificate ready. Okay, so that is taken care by the SOLAS convention itself. So against which standard these classification societies check these designs? So that is known as class rules. So IR class rules are available in our website. So you can download it freely and then you can refer those rules where there are different type of rules. I will take you through the website once this presentation is over. So the certificate, suppose vessel is operating only in inland waters, like you have Vembanad Lake or Kochi backwaters, and the vessel wants to go to deep sea, like it wants to go to Lakshadweep. So can we allow a vessel which is supposed to be a vessel which is designed for our Vembanad Lake to go to Lakshadweep? So can anyone tell me, is it allowable like that? Hello.
No, sir.
So the vessel which is operating in inland waters will not be allowed to go to sea. So what should be the problem? What is the problem of taking a vessel in inland waters to deep sea?
Due to density change,
Yes, there is a density change. So any other thing you can think about, like
inland waters are much more constant waters, but seas are rough.
okay, so that says it. Okay, so that means that inland waters are having lower wave heights compared to the sea. Okay, so that means that when a vessel which is operating in inland waters goes to the sea, it has to encounter heavy sea conditions. Then safety is a problem. That means that if there any problem happens to the inland vessels, people are around them to save them and take them to shore. It is very easy. But if a vessel goes from the shore and goes to deep sea, so then the vessel is on its own, and it will take some time for people to reach from shore to the vessel. Okay, so that these are all the problems of certifying a seagoing vessel. Okay, so that means that there has to be a clear demarcation between this vessel which is operating in the inland and a vessel which is going to sea. Okay, so a classification society gives certificate accordingly only. So if you see the certificate of an inland vessel, the certificate will have letters known as IWL, inland waterways. And if a vessel is going to sea, as far as IRS is concerned, it will give the class notation as SUL. So this clearly says that SUL is a vessel which can go to sea, and IWL is a vessel which can operate only in inland waters. And there can be a vessel which is operating it in inland waters and which may go to a certain distance to sea. So that is known as river sea vessels, which is given by DG Shipping Order number 18 of 2013. So these are the three different regimes of operation of vessels. One is inland, river sea vessel, and seagoing vessels. Okay, seagoing also we again classify it as sheltered water, coastal areas, specified operating routes like that. So once you go through the class rules part one, it will clearly mention you what is the different classification according to the operating areas. Okay. So inland waters also again we classify these vessels like which operates only in 2 feet waves, then 4 feet waves, or 8 feet waves like that. So somewhere around 8 feet waves. Okay, so these are the different classifications for inland vessels also. So this is a very vast area. So I am not going so deep into this classification rules and all. So whenever if you require more details, we can conduct another session for this same. So classification is just one element within the maritime safety regime. Others with a responsibility for or interest of promoting maritime safety include ship owners, shipbuilders, flag state administrations, port state control authorities, underwriters, shipping financiers, charterers, and of course seafarers. So you are seeing there are two terms here. One is flag state, another one is port state. So can anyone tell me what is the difference between a flag state and a port state?
Sir, so a flag state is the country whose flag the vessel bears,
Right.
and the port state is the country which accommodates the vessel.
Right. That means that if I am taking my car from Kerala to Maharashtra, so then my flag state is Kerala, my port state is Maharashtra. So both the states' requirements has to be same so that my car will not be fined. Okay. So this is the requirement of flag state and port state. So port state can also inspect a vessel, flag state also can inspect a vessel. So both the inspections are possible for a vessel. Okay. So the role of classification societies has been recognized in the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, or which is known as SOLAS. So SOLAS clearly says the requirement of classification societies. Okay. And it is told in the International Load Line Convention also. So load line convention class certificate is a must. What is load line? Okay. So anybody remembers what is freeboard?
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
the region of the
height.
ship which is above the water.
Okay, so the region of the ship above water is known as freeboard. So this freeboard is decided by this International Convention on Load Line. So when you are in your final year, you will be doing this freeboard computation for your preliminary design as such. Okay, so this classification society is an independent, regulating externally audited body. Okay, so this is a requirement. That means it should be an independent body and it is a self-regulating body. So that means that if any ship which is classed with us experiences a constant problem, that means when suppose say hatch combing is cracking, so then we have to
I
investigate.
hope no more questions are there.
Yes, please. Hello. Okay. Yeah. So this class societies will keep on updating their rules based on the feedback received from the industry. Okay, so this is the requirement of keeping the rules, and we will be externally audited. That means that if class society says that my bottom plating thickness has to be 10 mm, so then it has to be it has to be it has to be provided or not. So then there has to be some auditing. That means that if the real requirement is 12 mm as per the class rules and the class society accepts 10 mm, so there has to be a technical background. So that means that somebody external party which is external to the class society will be coming to a class society and auditing us according to a certain set of standards and regulations. Okay, so we are also auditable. So whatever work we do in the class society will be audited by an external party. Okay, so that means that we cannot just act on our own. It will be like based on a certain set of standards and regulations. So for an IACS member, this IACS member, there are certain requirements. I will explain that thing in coming slides. So we have seen that initially the owner and builder comes into an agreement with the specification of the vessel. Then the design of the vessel will be done by the shipyard, and that design will be seen by the class society. Class society stamps the plan, and then that plan will be verified by a class surveyor at shipyard, and then he makes sure that this construction is done according to the plan which is approved by the plan approval section. And according to that, they will do the test and trials of the ship, and then a class certificate will be issued. So it will be done after the designation of the sorry, it will be done after the satisfactory completion of the relevant surveys. Okay. So if there is any problem, suppose the vessel hits another vessel, or this vessel is grounded, or something happened to the vessel, then the owner is supposed to inform the class society immediately, and accordingly the class certificate will be with this suspended. So till the time they rectify those issues, this class certificate will be suspended, or till the time they rectify to the satisfaction of the attending surveyor, the class certificate will be suspended. So suspended class certificate he is not supposed to sail. Okay. So there is some understanding that this vessel will be loaded, operated, and maintained in a proper manner by the competent and qualified crew or operating personnel, and vessel may be maintained in class provided that the opinion of the society concerned it remains in compliance with the relevant rules. So that means that once the vessel's class certificate is issued, the vessel is supposed to be checked by the class society in a periodical manner. Okay, so every year or every 2.5 years. So there are specific intervals in which this vessel will be inspected, and there are specific parts of the vessel which will be inspected. All those details are there in the part 1 of our class rules. So if you go through the part 1 of the class rules, you will get a general idea about all these things. Okay. So usually class society relies on the empirical experiences, generally on this maintenance of the class and other things. But the design usually checked with the first principles, or more detailed structure analysis, or detailed analysis, whatever information is available with us, we check the design. And the research is a continuous process, and anything has to be added to the class rules will be suggested to the suggested by the plan approval department to the research division, and they will add to the rules. Okay. So as far as classification is concerned, there are more than 50 organizations worldwide, but they are not all of them are IACS members. There are only 12 organizations which are IACS members. The latest addition to the IACS is Turk Lloyd, and there was some. I will show you the list of classification societies. So this is the requirement to become a member of IACS. Classification Society is an organization which publishes its own classification rules. That means that IRS should publish its own classification rules. And verifies the compliance of the rules during construction and periodically during a classed ship's service life. Then publishes a register of classed ships. What is a register of a ship? Why we are known as Indian Register of Shipping? Why we should have a register of the ships? Okay, so the register tells you the vessel, whether a vessel is classed with us or not. So it is published in a periodical manner, and it is not controlled by and does not have interest in ship owners, shipbuilders, or other engaged commercially in the manufacture. Suppose the ship owner is influencing the class society, what will happen? Okay. So if the ship owner is influencing the class society, then he can have commercial interest. Like he can force the class society to accept a ship which is older or inferior quality to class, and he can save the premium of his insurance. So that is possible. So there should not be any commercial interest in classing a vessel. Then usually, the flag administration authorizes a class society to carry out this flag administration's surveys and plan approval on behalf of them, and that is known as recognized organizations, or which is known as RO in short form. And there is a specific code for that, which is known as RO code. So if you see the RO code, it tells which are all things a RO should have in order to become an RO of a flag administration. At present, IRS is part of around 47 flag administrations RO. So these are the present IACS members. So Lloyd's Register being the oldest, it is 1760. And Germanischer Lloyd and Detnorske Veritas have joined together to form DNVGL earlier, and now it is only DNV. So Germanischer Lloyd is no more existing. And Russian Maritime Register of Shipping has gone out of this IACS member or suspended by the IACS societies due to this geopolitical reasons. And Turk Lloyd is the latest member which has come in 2024 as per my knowledge. And we are celebrating our 50 years from 2024 to 2025. So this is our 50 years of forming. And IRS was formed in 1975 as a public limited company. So the government has made it as a public limited company without any intervention from the government authorities. And IRS is a not-for-profit organization. That means that IRS does not work to generate revenue. Whatever revenue it gets goes for the salaries of the people, and it is mostly sent to the research and development. And IRS does not receive any financial grant from any source and generate its own revenue and for its operation and research. So this is about IRS. So any queries on this particular thing?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I just had a doubt that for one classification society, why is there branches of the classification society in different countries?
Usually it is for logistical purposes. Like suppose if you take the case of say if my construction is happening, if IRS is concerned, IRS have branches in UK, Turkey, and UAE, and all those locations. So what happens is that these vessels are plying worldwide, or the classed vessels are plying worldwide. We have around 2,500 vessels in our class. So these vessels are traveling from different locations to different locations throughout the year. So they may not be able to come to Indian ports for their inspection and verification. So when they are approaching a port, they will inform the class society, and the class surveyor has to go to that port and then inspect it and verify that everything is meeting as per the survey requirements. So for that purpose, it is better to have a particular office in a place where you will have more surveys in that location. So that is the reason we will have different survey stations at different countries. So as far as plan approval is concerned, suppose at present IRS is having plan approval only in Mumbai, and other class societies are having plan approval offices worldwide. It depends on the business they are having. Like if the local plan approval is there, then it is much easier to interact with their industry and clarify the things and get the plan approval done in an easy manner. Okay, so that's the reason.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So what I will do is that I will take you briefly through the some of the websites which may be helpful to you. We will finish exactly by 3 o'clock. Okay. So you can see my screen here. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
IMO website is imo.org. If you type imo.org, you will come to know about the history of IMO. Everything is here. So whenever you get time, just to go through this particular website so that you will get a brief idea about what is IMO, which is a government organization only. And if you go to their home, then you will be able to see this structure of the IMO. So IMO organization structure they have clearly told. So this is the bell in their IMO assembly room. So this is this symbol they have, this photo they have put it just to give us idea about this. This chair rings this bell before an IMO assembly starts. Okay, so assembly is there, then council is there, then there are different types of council members. One is category A members, which is having largest interest in providing international shipping. There are India is not in that list, and there are 10 states with the largest interest in international seaborne trade. So India is part of that council. Okay, you can see this, and there are category C. So IMO council, it assembles in 2 years, once in 2 years, and there are 10 states with largest interest in international shipping, then 10 states with international seaborne trade, and 20 states not elected under A and B. So Bangladesh and other countries will come into that. Then Maritime Safety Committee is the highest technical body in this organization. Okay, so there are Safety Committee and Environmental Protection Committees. These are the two main committee in IMO. And these are the subcommittees. So naval architecture usually comes under this subcommittee on ship design and construction. Okay. So if you search for anything about naval architecture, like suppose structure or whatever comes, it will come into this ship design and construction side. And there is something called legal committee, then technical cooperation committee, facilitation committee, secretariat. So these are the this is the organization structure of IMO. And as far as IACS is concerned, this is the organization chart. There is IACS council is there, then general policy group is there. So under general policy group, you have different panels. So if you see this panels, you have environmental panel, cyber systems, safety, machinery, safe, decarbonization, hull panel, survey panel. So these are the panels which advises IACS on formation of different rules, and they interact with the IMO also, because IMO is a government organization. It requires more technical inputs from IACS. So IMO and IACS is a consultative. IACS have a consultative status in IMO. So whenever you go for an IMO meeting and all, IACS will be one of the members in that IMO meeting. Okay, so whatever queries this are there from IMO panels regarding this IACS, they will raise to this IACS member who is there in that meeting. Okay. So there are something called working group. Then there is something called expert groups. Expert groups like materials and welding, we have specific expert groups. And then surface autonomous ships. Then data and information exchange, there is a specific expert groups. So these are, we are all, IRS is actually part of all these panels and experts groups and working groups and all. And other than that, there will be project teams. Like if you see the latest rules, I think 2024 rules, which will be published shortly, you will see there is a lot of changes in the buckling calculations, longitudinal strength and buckling calculations of the vessels. So those comes from IACS UR S35. So I will explain you what is UR and US and all those things. So don't worry about that one. So IRS website is irclass.org. So in the irclass.org, you can go to the marine section. So there it will give you some useful links and publications if you go. then it will take you to this different brochures we have. Other than that, if you go to the if you go to the rules, classification notes and guidelines, we have a set of marine rules. Like if you go to the steel ships, then high speed vessels, then this is CSR rules, then inland waterways rules, pleasure crafts and yachts and all. So there are a number of rules here. Then there is something called guideline. Guideline is something like it has not been published as a rule, but it gives you an insight into this specific requirement. Suppose you take the case of uh, uh, vessels which has to operate with methanol. So there is something called guidelines for operation of methanol, or you are going to operate your vessels with ammonia. So there is a guideline on that one. So all these things are there in the websites. So ammonia fueled vessels or methanol fueled vessels, or you are going to use say going to design a vessel with autonomous surface as an autonomous surface vessel, then there is a guideline for that. I will show you that one. So there is remotely operated vessels and autonomous surface vessels. So these are all discussions happening internationally, and accordingly these guidelines are prepared. And there is a guideline on cyber safety, maritime cyber safety. So there is a class notation now available for the maritime cyber safety. Then underwater radiated noise. This is another guideline. Then there is something called fuel cell. I think recently you have seen a vessel which is built by Cochin Shipyard, which is operating on hydrogen powered vessel or fuel cell technology. So this is a guideline on those things. And I hope we are through this presentation. So any specific queries you can ask me right now. So any queries?
Sir, Krishna Kumar Perez, 47. Hello.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, Krishna Kumar Perez, 47. Can you hear me, sir? Hello.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, yes. Mr. Adarsh?
Yes, hi.
Yeah.
Sir, what actually is the role of DG shipping in
Okay. So are you clear what IMO does?
Hello?
Hello, yeah. Are you clear what IMO does?
Yes, sir, yes.
So IMO is a uniting body for all these 176 member states. And India is one of the member states in IMO. So that means that this whatever IMO conventions are there, like SOLAS, MARPOL, or STCW and all. So all the member states should have made this applicable to their vessels which is registering in their country. Then only these vessels can go to other country which is also part of this IMO convention, right?
Yes.
So DG Shipping takes care of this implementation of this SOLAS requirement and all in Indian flagged vessels. And they are also auditable by the IMO body. And I think last January or so, the IMO has audited DG Shipping also. And DG Shipping takes care about the registration of the vessels in India, and they are also the flag state authority, which does the flag state inspections also. And certain type of vessels like passenger vessels and all, which is registered under Indian flag, they take care about the registration, this plan approval, safety plans approval process also, because they have not given it to any of the recognized organizations. Okay. So even though IRS is a recognized organization for DG shipping, they don't give this passenger vessels certification by IRS. Okay, so these are some of the roles of DG shipping, and they takes care about the circulars. They takes care about the specific uh, uh, rules also, and in river sea vessel rules. All those things are published by DG shipping only. Yeah,
Okay, so these government related things will be done by this data shipping, right?
exactly.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
So any other specific things?
Hello.
Yeah.
So my question is, in relation to the various policies made by IMO for decarbonization, like to reduce all carbon emissions by 2050.
Yeah.
How are classification societies adapting to those rules? Like, what amendments are being made to the existing rules?
There is something called a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 compliance to the air pollution itself. So the engine manufacturers, we say that this has to be tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3 compliance according to that. Then there is something called fuel requirement, that sulfur content of the fuel should be this much or should not be higher than this, and all the SOx, NOx emissions and all those things. So, and then all these things, see, some are part of this class society rules also. That means like some of the conventions, like suppose you take the case of load line conventions. So load line conventions, see, we have requirements for opening and closing appliances in the class rules also. So if you see the opening and closing appliances in the class rules, it clearly tells about the sill height requirements, or weather tightness requirement, or engine room supply requirement, or ventilation requirement, air pipe height requirement. All these things are coming from the load line requirement, load line convention. Okay, so the class society rules also takes care about that thing also, so that there should not be any conflict between this convention and the rules. But for inland vessels, this is relaxed, and because it is not going to international ports. That's the reason.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Anthony.
So I just wanted to ask that if there are any other classification society in India other than the IR class.
There are many classification societies. See, if you are seeing it, there are DNB, there are ABS, there are LR, there are International Register of Shipping. So all class BB is also there. So all the almost all classifications are there in India also. Because see, what happens is that if a vessel visits from another country to India, and you have to do the survey in India, there has to be a presence of the classification societies in India also. So that will be there.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Miss Mahima.
Sir, today you mentioned that a vessel which is operating in inland waterways cannot be operated in Lakshadweep. So my question is that does the presence of additional personnel assisting in vessels navigating in inland waters potentially compromise their safety standard when compared to vessels traveling in Lakshadweep?
See, there are different things, like when a vessel is operating in inland, it is actually much watered requirement. Like if you're taking case of the pollution itself, like you don't need a sewage treatment plant when you are going from when you're operating it in inland. You require a sewage holding tank. And say, take the case of navigation itself, you don't require difficult things like GMDSS or other things when you're operating it in inland. And take the case of structure. So the structure, the vessel, say, it will be experiencing only very low size waves, like inland vessel. As per IRS rules are concerned, it experiences, it is certified maximum up to 2 meter significant wave height. I hope all of you know what is a significant wave height. And when it goes to say full sea going, it may go 6 meter or above. So that means that this wave height itself is a big problem for the vessel, which is vessel structure. And then other things like load line is concerned. Inland vessels, load line requirements are not much, because you don't expect much shipping of green water on the deck, or there is no well formation on the deck, or there is no splashing of green water on the deck, or there is a less chance of the vessel to sink due to a wave splashing or severe environmental cases. But it is not the case with a vessel which is going to operate from Cochin to Lakshadweep. So there has to be very good safety requirement, and the fire and safety is also concerned. Like if you have a fire on board, then you will get the assistance very fast for an inland vessel. But for a seagoing vessel, it has to fight the fire by its own. So that means that there should be adequate firefighting, fire protection mechanisms and all. And the safety of the crew is concerned, there has to be adequate life raft, lifeboats and all. So these are all things which has to be taken care when a vessel goes from mainland to a remote location.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, actually, I would like to tell a vote of thanks.
Okay, please carry on.
I hope no more questions are there. Due to a time limitation, we are concluding the session now. Before concluding, we would like to present a certificate of gratitude to Mr. Jeevanram S. Pillai, the Principal Surveyor of Indian Register of Shipping and our 16th batch alumni, for honoring this event and delivering a wonderful talk.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I hope you all have enjoyed the webinar. On behalf of SNAS, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Mr. Jeevanram S. Pillai for taking time from his valuable schedule and making this a very informative webinar on this special topic. My heartfelt gratitude to all members of DOSTAS from all over the world for the exceptional commitment to the department. On this occasion, I would like to thank Dr. Sadish Babu PK, our HOD, for being a constant inspiration and for being with us in all the activities conducted by SNAS. Last but not the least, I would like to thank every faculties and students who put a sincere effort to attend the webinar and make it a grand success.
Thank you all.
Our
Thank you.
webinar has been concluded.
Thank you.
Now you may please leave the meeting. Thank you.